everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Huck. Today we're doing a very belated Q&A because I asked for questions months ago. Like, I don't even know, it was like back in March or April or something, and it's November now. So my turnaround time on these Q&As is just like not great. This happened like the one other time I've done a Q&A is that for some reason I get really excited about it and I'm like, yes, send me questions. And then, I don't know, it takes me forever to answer them. But thank you to the people who asked me questions. I appreciate you. And I am sorry that it has taken me this long to actually answer them. I also wanted to do like a little life update thing because some stuff has changed in my life recently, which if you've been watching my videos, you essentially know, like, I got a new job, but I thought I'd tell you a little bit more about it. And also, I decided that for this life update slash Q&A, I would try having a little like activity to do and see if that makes it easier or harder. So the other day I found a coloring book that I forgot that I had, but it's this giant like nature coloring book. So I'm gonna be coloring in this. There's one that I've already started that I'm gonna be working on that has dragons. I'm not very quick at coloring and I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to like speak and color at the same time. So we'll see what happens. At this point, I have mostly colored in a blue dragon down here, who's kind of going for like a gradient thing. I think that I'm just going to color in a different dragon for this. I think I'm going to go with green. I don't think I'm going to do a gradient. We're going to do more of like a patchwork scale situation. See how that looks. I don't know. I do love a gradient, but that takes more concentration. So yeah, we'll get started. Anyway, so I'm going to start with just kind of my little life update thing to, I don't know, give you some background about what's been going on in my life. So I recently started a new job, recently meaning in August, and kind of the backstory to all of this. We're gonna go all the way back to May of 2020 because I finished grad school. I got a master's in industrial and organizational psychology, which is essentially like the psychology of the workplace. So some of it's like HR stuff and some of it is more like organizational change and strategic planning and like that kind of stuff. So the original plan before all of the stuff in 2020 happened, like at the very beginning of the year, my plan was to like finish grad school in the spring, apply to jobs over the summer, and then hopefully have a new job by the fall. Obviously, plans went awry. I did graduate, but I didn't like get a new job. I stayed in the job that I was in for a little while longer. But I did know that that job was going to be ending because I was working in career services in a university, in a grad school actually, a different graduate school than where I did my master's. But they were doing a university-wide like restructuring of all of the career services departments, and for my department that meant that they were dissolving pretty much all of the positions, including mine. So my position was going to be ending. I could have reapplied, but I didn't want to. It was time for me to like move on from there. I had been there for almost 5 years, so it just kind of, you know, the timing worked out that like, I was like, oh, the job is ending. I was kind of planning to move on anyway. We can part ways. So that job ended. Then I was unemployed for a while and applying to jobs. You know, I was very lucky that I, you know, had like a secure living situation. I had savings, like I was fine. And so I was applying to jobs, and then I was mostly applying to stuff that was program evaluation, because that was kind of my area of interest from grad school. So there were kind of two types of jobs that I was applying to. One were internal evaluation jobs, so it would be like the person who monitors and evaluates like training programs across a large organization to make sure, like, are they using their resources well? Are people actually learning things from the training? Like those kinds of things. Or I was applying to places that would like contract out to do program evaluation. So like a place where that like specializes in evaluation and would contract out with like government or nonprofits or something like that. But I applied to one place that was a consulting firm. I didn't really initially intend to go into consulting, but there was this one consulting firm that I had been interested in for quite a while. I had come across them maybe like 2016, 2017 through some of my work in career services. And I just thought they were really interesting. I liked their approach to, they do strategic planning, and I just liked their whole approach and the kind of stuff that they seem to work on. So I just sort of kept tabs on them over the years. So when I was applying to new things, I just checked them out to see if they had anything open, and they did, and I applied. But I wasn't really expecting that to like go anywhere, because I was applying to like all of these other places that were more like evaluation focused. But I did get a call back from the consulting firm, and I had to do like 4 rounds of interviews. I ended up getting that job, and so now I am working at this consulting firm. So now my position is that I'm a consultant at a management consulting firm that does like strategic planning and stuff for organizations. And so far I have really been liking it. So I started at the beginning of August, so I've been there for a few months now. You know, it's been very interesting. I feel like, you know, I have to learn a lot very quickly. It's very fast paced. I feel like every job posting I've ever seen pretty much says like you have to be ready for a fast paced environment, and never once before now has that actually been a fast paced environment. This job that I'm in is actually very fast moving. Like there are so many deadlines and deliverables, and everything's just like moving along a lot really quickly. I have one main client that I am on, and their timeline, it's like a very short project with like a really quick turnaround on what we're doing. And it just has been very intense. It's been a lot of work and a steep learning curve, but I have been really liking it. I like the people that I'm working with so far. So that is my life update, the saga of my job situation, if anybody was curious what I've been up to. And with that, we can get into the questions that you guys asked. So first up, we have, what are some favorite characters you love on page but couldn't stand in real life? And what's an unpopular trope that you love? Characters that I love on page but couldn't stand in real life. I feel like there are so many. I think there are just so many characters that are great characters to read about, but I just would not be able to stand them in real life. The one that comes to mind is Ban from the Queens of Innisleer, because he was one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in that book, but not the kind of person that I would be able to deal with like in real life. Because he's the kind of person, like he's very, like he does have some like tough situations in some ways, but he's also like very self-pitying, and also the type of person who goes like, I can't handle my own emotions, and so not only will I just like destroy my own life, I'm just gonna destroy the lives of everybody around me because I can't deal with my own stuff. And that's a thing that I just cannot stand. And usually I also can't stand that in characters, let alone real life people. But somehow Tessa Gratton made me love him, even though I don't even like characters who are like that, but I definitely would not be able to stand him in real life. And then an unpopular trope that I love. I don't know if I have like an unpopular trope that I love. However, a trope that I like, that I feel like is underappreciated, is friends to lovers. I feel like everyone's all about enemies to lovers, which is like fine, but I'm not that into it. But I love friends to lovers. I love, like, I mean, it has to be done well, obviously, but I love it when they have, you know, like history and backstory to their relationship, and there's so much like awkwardness and angst, and the like, oh, what, like, I don't want to destroy the friendship, or like they don't see me that way, and like when they're both pining for each other and they know each other so well. I love friends to lovers, and I just feel like it is not appreciated enough. All right, then we have, if you had to describe yourself as a mashup of 3 book characters, who would they be? Oh, that is a good question. I find questions like this really hard though, because I feel like I very rarely like identify with characters. So it's hard for me to like pick ones. I feel like it may not be the most interesting answer, but honestly, like, one of the reasons that I love the Raven cycle, there are many, many reasons, but one of them is because I do identify with some of those characters, and I feel like I'm kind of, like, I see bits of myself in Adam and Gandhi and Blue, not Ronan. Another character that I can think of, I know you asked for 3, but another one that's from a different book at least, is actually also from the Queens of Innisleer. Elia is one of the 3 daughters, one of the 3 main characters in the book, and her character, like, I don't really relate to her personality exactly, but like some of the things she does, or like the role that she's in, I'm just like, that's who I would be if I was in a fantasy world. Because essentially she, like, there are people who try to convince her that she should be the be the queen, and she's just like, no, I do not want that level of responsibility. Just like, everybody leave me alone so I can just be by myself and do my hobbies. Because she just wants to like read star prophecies and just does not want responsibility and wants everyone to leave her alone. And I'm like, that is me. If I was in a fantasy world, I would not be somebody who goes like, oh, I'm gonna go on an adventure. I would be like, no, I don't care if the world is ending. You need to find somebody else to fix this for you, because I just want to be left alone to do my hobbies. So I definitely related to that aspect of her character. All right, then we have, I'd like to know more about your dogs and if you have other pets as well. That is a dangerous question. Because if it's an open question about my dogs. Yeah, so I will try to be succinct, because honestly I could talk about them forever. So I don't have any other pets, it's just the 2 dogs. So it's Kira and Timber. Both of them are rescues, so a lot of the stuff that we know about them is sort of like guesses. So Kira is probably close to 8 years old. She's some kind of retriever mix. We think she might be a flat-coated retriever mix. And she, what can I tell you about her? She is definitely an introvert. She likes having time to herself. If you get too close to her, she will like put her paw on your shoulder or your chest and just like push away. It's just like personal bubble space. If we take her to the dog park, she does not want to play with the other dogs. She just wants to sniff around the perimeter of the park by herself, and then she's like, all right, I'm done now. That's it. Does not want to socialize. She likes people a lot, but she's like much more indifferent about other dogs. She's good with other dogs. She just is like, why would I interact with them? So definitely an introvert. She's very dramatic. She loves drama. She likes to woo. Like she doesn't really bark. She just like woos a lot, and it's very funny. It's very dramatic sometimes. Like if she loses a toy under a piece of furniture, she will like huff and puff and then back up and throw her head back really dramatically and like woo to the sky, and it just is like so funny. But yeah, and then Timber is, how old is he? He's maybe like 3 or 4 or so. And he's some kind of husky mix. He might be like a husky yellow lab mix or something, but definitely husky in there. He looks like a husky, but with different coloring and kind of like down ears. But he has a lot of husky personality. He has a lot of personality, a lot of opinions. He does not like being told what to do, but he is smart. Like, he gets it. He just doesn't like being bossed around. He has a lot of energy. He's very like playful and goofy. And he'll like go do like a rah, 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 kind of like talking to you, and he'll get like grumpy about things, and he just is very funny. Yeah, he is very much an extrovert. He loves other dogs. He loves people and dogs, but like he loves like seeing other dogs and always wants to play with other dogs. He can charm anybody, and even the other dogs who are like, if other dogs are being grumpy or mean or something, like he will win them over eventually. He is like very determined for everybody to like him. But he is a very charming kind of guy. Anyway, yeah, so they're both real characters. Then we have a question, what are some childhood favorites, books, movies, or television? Oh gosh, okay, what were childhood favorites? Books, I'm trying to remember. I had a picture book as a kid that I loved that was all like Greek mythology. If I can find I don't remember exactly what it was called, but if I can find a picture, I will put it up here. I loved Redwall as a kid, and depends on how young you mean as like, you know, childhood favorites, because I also liked Tamara Pierce's books that I have like all of her books up here. I started reading those, well, I started reading them myself when I was 11, but my mom read some of them out loud to me when I was maybe 10 or something. So yeah, those were some that I like really loved as a kid. And then what were other ones? Movies or television? I mean, as a kid, I wasn't really allowed to watch anything other than PBS. So I loved Dragon Tales. I mean, I did watch some Disney movies. I remember I really liked Beauty and the Beast and The Little Mermaid and Mulan. Mulan and Beauty and the Beast, I think, were my two favorites. I did have a Mulan themed birthday party when I was, I don't know, like, how old? I don't know how old I would have been, but I was pretty young. And my dad made a Mulan birthday cake for me where he like drew her in icing, and it was actually pretty good. So yeah, those are some favorites, I guess. This is not in any of those categories, but when I was in like middle school, I was very into Neopets for a while. So there's that. That was also a childhood favorite. Then we have, let's see, how long have you been sewing and what got you into it and what's your favorite thing about it? Okay, how long have I been sewing? I have been sewing maybe 18 years. Oh my God, that feels like a long time. I have not been coloring for a lot of this. I am really not making progress. Okay, I need to focus. So I've been sewing. I learned how to sew when I was probably like 11 or 12, and then I joined a theater group and was in the costuming department for the theater group. So the way I learned how to sew was that one of my friends, their older sister, taught me how to sew and just like taught me the basics of how to use a sewing machine, how to read patterns, like all of that kind of stuff. And then I learned a little bit more from being in that theater group, and a lot of it has also just been like self-taught. So like I got a lot of the basics, and then I just sort of taught myself other stuff as I went and made up my own ways of doing things. So yeah. But I think to me that's part of the fun of it, is I like the kind of like figuring things out and like the puzzle of like making things work. So that's one of the things that I like about it. I originally got into it because I wanted to make my own costumes. I loved playing dress up as a kid, and I had all of these ideas for like things that I wanted to make. And then also I really wanted to go to the Renaissance Festival, and I wanted to like wear a costume, but buying Renfest costumes can get very expensive. So I wanted to make my own. So that's kind of what initially got me into sewing. And so for a long time, all of my sewing was like making costumes, and I still make costumes, but more recently I've been turning it more towards like making regular clothes that I could wear day to day. And then what's your favorite thing about it? I don't know. I feel like there are just a lot of things that I love about it. I mean, one of my favorite things is being able to make exactly what I want. Whether it is for costumes, because I have like an idea for a look that I want, or if it is, you know, regular clothes and there's something very specific that I want that I can't find, or I can't find it like in my size or something. So I like being able to, you know, create exactly what I want. I also like being able to like make things that fit me the way that I want. And then I also really love just the process, like I was saying, kind of like the puzzling it out aspect of it. I don't know, there's something that's so interesting to me about like having an idea and figuring out how to fit things together, whether I have to like start off with a pattern and alter it to be what I want, or draft my own pattern, and like, I don't know, just learning new skills along the way. I just like the kind of learning curve of it and the puzzling it out, and I get into like, you know, flow while I'm sewing. I just really love it. From my friend Kathleen, are there any videos you want to make that haven't yet? Like topics, types, or tags? At this point, there aren't any that I can specifically think of. So one of the things that has been on my mind for a long time that I really wanted to make was like specifically recommendation videos, but I finally made one the other week. I don't know. I did a recommendation video that was recommending short books and like novellas. So I'll link that below if you want to see it, but I was very excited to finally do that because that's been like, you know, on my mind for a while, that I really wanted to make a short book, or not short book specifically. I just wanted to do a recommendation video of some kind. And so now I really want to do more of them. A type of video, so I want to do more of those. And another type of video that I want to do more of is I really want to make more of those like Enneagram videos. I've only made 2 so far, but essentially like trying to type characters from books using the Enneagram. I think it's really fun. You know, as videos, they are some of my videos that like take the most work and get the fewest views, but I also like don't care because I just find it really fun to do. And it's mostly just for my own entertainment. And for the few people who watch and appreciate it also. But yeah, so those are some things that like I have already done. I just want to make more of them. Someone asked how my dream house would look. I don't know exactly. I think that a dream house for me would be like, I would love to just have a really cute, cozy, like cottage kind of house. I think ideally, to me, it would be like right on the edge of like a forest, like a cute forest, not a creepy one, but like kind of on the outskirts of like a town or something, so that I could be kind of isolated and I could go like into the woods whenever I wanted, but then also I wouldn't be like completely alone. Like if something bad happened, I would be able to like get to town, and you know, I could do like grocery shopping and like basic things like that. So yeah, just like a really cute little cottage like on the outskirts of a town, and like right between like a town and a forest, you know, and have like a cute little garden that I think someone else would have to take care of because I'm not very good at gardening. And yeah, I don't really want something that has a lot of space. Like I want enough space so that I can comfortably have like, you know, my stuff, like my books, my craft supplies, and whatever amount of space I need for like crafting. Like I need like floor space and table space for like sewing and stuff. Other than that, I don't know. That's about all I got. Okay. What else? We have you ever thought about getting a bookish tattoo or do you already have any? I do not have any tattoos. I don't think that I'm ever going to get any tattoos. But I have thought about, like, hypothetically, if I did get a tattoo, what would it look like? Most of them have not been book related, but I did have one idea back when I was like, I don't know, in like high school or something. I had an idea for a tattoo that was very like minimal, very simple. Essentially, I wanted, like, on my forearm, I wanted it to say, "Beware all ye mortals," which is the first line from a quote that I really loved when I was in like middle school, high school. So it's from one of the books in the Great Tree of Avalon series by T.A. Barron. There's a moment where there's this kind of like immortal being talking to somebody, and she says, "Beware all ye mortals, this warning to heed, when faith turns to arrogance or joy turns to greed. Belief becomes shackles, not wings of the freed. Then hard be thy heart, corrupt be thy creed." And that was a quote that I really loved in like middle school and high school, because I think that was a time when I was really thinking a lot about like the role of religion in people's lives and the way that people can use religion to either like benefit people or to just be horrible to people. And so that was like a quote that I loved a lot at that time. And I didn't want to get like the whole quote. And so for some reason, the answer to me was just to get the first line that says, "Beware all ye mortals," like on my forearm. But yeah, so at this point, I don't think I would do that, but that was one that I considered at one point. And then the last question that I have is, why did you decide to make a booktube channel? What's the type of video most fun to film for you? Oh, why did I decide to make a booktube channel? I feel like at the time I just had a lot of reasons as to, has my white balance been freaking out this whole time? Or exposure, or whatever it's called. I don't really understand how cameras work. Yeah, I had a lot of reasons why I wanted to start a channel. I always thought it would be fun to have a YouTube channel. But I never knew what I would make videos about, because I didn't want to just do like, you know, lifestyle or daily vlogging kind of stuff. And I didn't really think I had other topics that I like consistently could produce content around. But then I found BookTube and pretty much like almost immediately made a channel. Like I think I found BookTube and then like 2 weeks later made a channel and started, and then like a couple weeks later posted. And then of course also from watching BookTube I was like, oh, this would be cool to be able to get to know people on BookTube, and it just felt like it would be easier to meet people and make friends if I was also making content. There was a lot more like thinking and stuff that went into it, but those are kind of the basic reasons for why I started BookTube. A lot of it is just like I thought it would be fun, and so far it has been. I've really been liking it, which is good because I've been doing it for, I don't even know, is this like my 5th year of making BookTube videos? Yeah, and then what are my favorite types of videos to make? Well, I said earlier that I do really love making those like Enneagram typing characters videos. Those are a lot of fun to me, even though they are a lot of work. But I also just enjoy some of the like really easy videos to make. Like hauls are always really fun because it's just like pure enthusiasm, you know? Like you don't have to review anything. You can just be like, I got this, I'm super excited about it, you know? And that's just so much fun to do. But I think that is the end of the questions. I have not made a lot of progress in my coloring because I got distracted. Oh, I just hit this with the coloring book. I got distracted talking to y'all. But anyway, we will end it here. Oh, I'll show you how far I got, which is not very far. I did some green scales on this one. But thank you all for watching. Thank you all for asking me questions and listening to me ramble about my life. But thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.